Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fangs.
We're back, man. Episode 291.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Let's get right into it. Recently, the biggest story on the news right now is the conflict between Palestine and Israel. I'm here to not talk about it. I don't know if that makes sense, but let me get into it. A lot of people are feeling the pressure to either take a side or to have an opinion or to, donate or to do this or that. I just want people to understand that it is completely okay to not know something. And it's completely okay to not have an opinion, to not share it, to not nothing. Like this shit in Palestine and Israel has biblical context to it. It goes really far, and it's a very nuanced conversation. Mm-hmm. Charlemagne actually had mentioned something about Justin Bieber putting up some inaccurate information he had to take down. Mm-hmm. I think we're too close. I mean, we're too pressured to get involved with shit. It's just like a digital overload, bro. You could only care about so much. And I think what's crazy is I, from a general sense, I care. I care seeing, children getting hurt and people getting hurt. But at the same time, I don't know enough. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be one of those platforms or those podcasts that just come out and say stuff just because I've had 3 days research. Mm-hmm. That's not enough. Like that's not enough for you to be talking. Mm-hmm. This is not like the little black box in your fucking Instagram profile to show that you have some form of what do you call that? Allyship. Mm-hmm. Like you cannot take sides in this. It's fucked up just in general. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just want people, I want to drive the message home that you do not have to know everything or even have an opinion, especially when you're not well educated enough on the subject matter.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's just so much going on in the world. This is just the biggest thing right now because of social media and, right. The bigger media outlets just kind of forcing this information. It's all over the front page of the newspapers and it's just like the talk of the town. And I think, like you were saying, I care about it from a general sense. Like I think that there's a lot of innocent people dying, and that's the nature of war, that that there's essentially like military bodies that kind of go to war, but there's a lot of casualties involved, and we see that in every war. Yeah. And I think those are the people you start to have real empathy for, right? So I care in that sense, but as a when I actually think about it, I just don't know. I don't know enough about it. Right. It's not something that I'm trying to actually, do any sort of research on. I just don't have a connection to it. Right. And I think that there, and like I said, there's so much other things that go on in the world, as far as like there's genocides in Darfur, and there's, other things going on, and maybe some stuff with the Aborigines in freaking Australia. In right. Australia, like there's just so many things going on around the world. It's like, if you don't care about this, then or if you put too much effort into this, or if you put too much research into this, like so does that mean you don't care about the people in Darfur? Right. I just think that when we always have these like you might mention it later, but as far as like Vlad TV or different people saying like, why hasn't this celebrity said this, or why hasn't this celebrity said that? It's just not everybody's place to say something. No. And I think that when you're not well researched on a specific thing, and this is completely different than like George Floyd or Trayvon Martin or all these situations where it's pretty, like, no pun intended, but it's pretty black and white, right? Like, that this person died and they died on video, or this person died and they died and there's evidence and there's, voice recordings and all this other stuff. This is something that goes way back to right. Like you said, to the biblical days. And this is something that's been going on since then. And it's just been kind of reignited ever so often. And the way I try to articulate it, it's like, it's like trying to pick sides between Bloods and Crips. It may have started maybe in the 70s or whatever the case may be. And it was like this one kid got jumped, and then they was like, well, we got to put a crew together so we don't have to get, we don't have to walk around LA without any sort of protection or anybody to have our back. And then all of a sudden they formed the Bloods and the Crips, and they just started going back and forth. And then all of a sudden in 2023, it's like we don't know where it starts and where it ends.
Yeah.
It's like you can't really pick a side because on both sides they're just like killing each other.
All right.
You know what I mean? So that's why in this situation, I think it's just best to, you can send your thoughts, you can send your prayers, but it's not for everybody to speak on, because this was way too nuanced for just a casual person sitting in Bakersfield, California, to have a real take on this situation.
Yeah, can you imagine just like, I stand with the Crips?
Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah.
It sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. And also, I think people need to cut this shit out where they say, if you don't say something, then you're a part of the problem. No, I don't think so. Mm-hmm. Because I remember when the whole George Floyd thing was going on, or other scenarios where an unarmed black person was shot or whatever. I didn't look at my white friends that hadn't posted something about it or whatever the case and said, oh, they're racist because they don't have a black box in their bio. Mm-hmm. Some people simply don't have a position. Like they generally care, but you can't put a blanket on someone as somebody being hateful just because they chose not to speak about it. Yeah. Right? Not to mention, too, the same people that tell you you need to talk about this or you're a part of the problem or whatever, there's been plenty of other issues that have happened in America and around the world, and even issues that I might have cared about, but I never heard you chime in one time. So you got people that have selective empathy. Like they'll tell you should care about this, you should care about Hamas, you should care about Palestine, you should care about this, you should care about that. But when I felt a way about something, even though I didn't have an expectation from others, I didn't hear you say a word.
For sure.
So you can't have selective empathy towards things, and you're quiet about a certain subject matter, and then you expect me to react to something else. That's not how the real world works. In addition, we only have, like I mentioned, so much mental capacity to care about so many things. Imagine somebody telling you, imagine somebody telling a woman that just had a miscarriage, telling her like, what's happening over there is terrible, and if you don't say something, then you're a part of the problem. And you thinking like, I just had a fucking miscarriage. I don't like this miscarriage, me losing my child is the most important thing in my life right now. Why do I have to care about what's going on over here when my life is in shambles right now?
Yeah, 100%.
You're asking too much of some people. Some people simply are just trying to deal with life. Yeah. It doesn't mean that they lack empathy. It just means that they can only channel so much towards what they're dealing with, man. Just get off of people's ass.
Yeah, 100%. Like for me, I just had a funeral on Saturday, and ain't nobody in Israel or, ain't nobody reach out to me and, send their condolences that don't know me. You know what I mean? Like this is just something that, so I just say like, we all deal with stuff. Like, I was given, example of like a pet that dies or gets hit by a car or something like that. We see pets on the side of the road all the time. Right. More times than not, it's somebody's pet. It might be a dog that we see on the freeway or whatever. I remember I witnessed an actual dog got hit. Like it was like a German Shepherd or something, and it got hit on the freeway. And it might have, who knows? It ain't too many stray German Shepherds. They're just really good dogs. So I'm sure it was somebody's dog that just got out, and they just made their way to the freeway and got lost or whatever the case may be. But as many people running up and down 99, almost 99.9999% of people do not care. But that one person that is the owner of that dog is distraught because they know that their dog isn't coming home. And that's just the way the world works. Yes. It's not for everybody to look at that dog and just be like, oh my gosh, who's the owner? How can we connect these two? And oh my God, we just have to stop traffic and find, it's like, that's just how the world works. So like I said, I don't expect the world to be distraught that, my cousin passed away. You didn't even know this person.
100%.
But for me, this is just what I care about. I care about my family. I care about my friends. And I care about my community. And then I have empathy for, everybody else, but it's not something that I'm losing sleep over or, just trying to like exhaust myself to do research over what's the origin and who's right and who's wrong in these situations.
The internet has skewed the way we view empathy. And I think that we have this weird expectation of how others should react or whatnot, because it's just people people almost have this fake display of care because they feel obligated to do it. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's not to say you don't care, but if you don't care the way a person that's being affected by it cares, it doesn't make you a bad person. They can personalize the situation because they're going through it, so it's the worst, and you can't quantify that because you're not the one affected directly by it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, so don't try to do that. Mm-hmm. Just don't try to do that. Just say a prayer and keep it going. Yeah. Just keep it moving, man. Mm-hmm. It's just a strange thing, man, because I was thinking about like when my father passed away, right? But I heard actually that's not what I was thinking about. I was thinking about when this dude talked about his mom passing away. It was like an NFL player. I can't remember who it was. And he said he was in the hospital, and then they ended up having to pull the plug on his mom, and he was just like he was in disbelief that his mother had just died. Mm-hmm. And when he finally went downstairs into the lobby, he said he could smell coffee, he could see traffic going by, everybody was walking by, people were on their cell phones, everything was going on, birds were chirping, dogs were barking, and he knew that like just because somebody you love dies, like life goes on for everybody else. Yeah. That's just the reality of the world. Yeah. My dad died, and what I noticed is, you got people like Keith and, his brother Desmond, who was my best friend of 23 years. Like, these people were constant in my life, obviously checking, make sure I was okay. But you had when somebody in your family dies, you have all the people on social media, condolences, prayers, condolences, prayers, condolences, prayers. But after that, everybody is off to doing what they do. Yeah. They got their own life to worry about. And at least 95% of them are not checking back. They just told you prayers and they moved on with themselves. Yeah. That's the way the world works. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was going to say too. There's a dude that's an interviewer named DJ Vlad. And he mentioned that Drake is the biggest, the biggest Jewish artist because he technically is Jewish. He's half Jewish. Mm-hmm. And DJ Khaled is the biggest Palestinian, I guess, what would he call it? Like what would you consider him? A celebrity, I guess you would say. Mm-hmm. And he said they've chosen to say nothing about it. They need to speak up. And it's like, wait a minute. Why do we put that type of pressure on someone to speak about something they either may not feel comfortable speaking about, or they've already evaluated what is that going to do for anything? Mm-hmm. Like, do you think a war and fucking and conflict between Palestine and freaking Israel is going to be like, wait a minute, stop. Let's stop beheading people. Drake is talking. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you can't expect for Drake or fucking DJ Khaled to speak on it. They've probably already weighed the pros and cons of the situation as any person would do. This is a very sensitive situation. Yeah. Because what do you expect them to do is say, I'm with Israel or I'm with Palestine. Then you're going to chastise them for it because they took a side. Yeah. So, like, bro, I'm not going to talk. Instead of talking, let me send these products over there. Let me send some food. Let me send some aid. And let me just send that without having to publicize it. We don't know what they're doing. Yeah, we don't know how this is affecting Drake. What if Drake is crying over this? Drake is legitimately Jewish. He had a bar mitzvah. Like, mm-hmm. So what if this is genuinely hurting Drake? Mm-hmm. And he says, well, Drake chose to not reply to this, but he replied to Joe Budden and he did this. It's like, bro, who the fuck are you? Mm-hmm. And why do you have such a skewed view on how others should perceive a trauma or problem in the world? Mm-hmm. We got too much. I don't know. Social media has affected some people to where they don't even think. They just start saying shit. People just say anything now.
But you just like taking it back to like the basic conversation. A tweet doesn't do anything for them over there. No, we don't even speak the same language. No. So I don't understand why you have these like, if this person don't say nothing, it like you said, DJ Khaled came out and made a statement today. That is not going to stop anybody from dropping a bomb or from shooting somebody or from killing somebody. That DJ Khaled has nothing to do with what's going on over there. It's big. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than Drake. It's bigger than any Adam Sandler. is bigger than Jerry Seinfeld. Like these people, these American entertainers or these Jewish entertainers in America, they don't got no effect on what's going on over there.
Yeah, and some of these conflicts, like we've been in the dark about a lot of them, and it's like it's a song that Andre 3000 made a long time ago called B.O.B. You remember it? Bombs Over Baghdad.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like he turned like I guess a conflict into like a hit song. Mm-hmm. Bombs Over Baghdad. Yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andre 3000. But I just. We have to understand that the people that are affected by something the most are in some way have a relation to it. So back in Vietnam, right, when soldiers were getting their legs blown off, then they're dying and coming back with missing limbs, and they came back with PTSD from the war. Like, do you think Russia gave a fuck about us? Like I don't remember Russia saying the war in Vietnam needs to stop. We cannot have these Americans being blown up. They didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm just keeping it real because back then I think there was an unspoken thing where people understood that you can't care about everything. Mm-hmm. You simply cannot. We've been through a lot of shit, from that. There's a lot of veterans that, were homeless and had heroin addictions and all kind of stuff. Do you think that other countries stepped in and said, oh, the Americans are on heroin. We need to stop them from doing drugs and we need to donate. Like, bro, we've created a very fake reaction to world events. Mm-hmm. We got the global warming. We got to do this or that. Like, okay, these things are important. But at the same time, like, I don't even think people understand, like, fully. I don't think they fully comprehend, like, what global warming is. Mm-hmm. It's like a person that used the word narcissist and they don't really even know what the proper diction is. Mm-hmm. They just say it. My ex was a narcissist. Can you define narcissist, ma'am? I mean, like, a person that's, like, mean and bad. It's like, lady, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Don't be one of those people that just say shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it is true though. I don't know why this is kind of off topic. But I guess some girl called in and mentioned something about global warming with Charlemagne recently. Mm-hmm. Some little girl, but she's being coached by her mom. Mm-hmm. And I guess Charlemagne mentioned the permafrost and stuff. But there is a chance there could be a fucking zombie virus. Mm-hmm. They call it the zombie virus. You guys could Google this. But basically, if the ice caps keep melting, there are some viruses that are they're dormant.
They're trapped inside of
they're trapped inside the permafrost. But if they if the ice caps and if they keep melting, and then we might fuck around and have a disease that we don't have, a response for. Mm-hmm. And that's the shit that's scary. Not like the whole the vid. I don't even want to say that word on here, but the whole
video.
What? Huh?
Said the video.
Yeah, the whole how do you say? Maxine. All that whole thing, that's not nearly as scary as what come out that goddamn permafrost. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, man, I don't have much else on that. Yeah. I'll double check and make sure I didn't miss anything. But the reason why we brought it up is to not really go into detail about it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay for you, Drake, DJ Khaled, not to say nothing. It's okay for y'all to just focus on your music, focus on taking care of your family,
right?
Focus on raising your son. And that's all you got to do for us. As long as you keep making music and doing what you love and taking care of your family and taking care of your loved ones and stuff like that. I mean, I don't need Drake to be a politician. I don't need DJ Khaled to be this global figure as far as politics and foreign policy and stuff like that. It's okay to just be a guy.
Yeah. And even when, like I mentioned, when some of the things were happening, with Black America, and it was some white folks that was just like I care, but I just don't really know much. Right. Yeah. I don't know much about this whole thing. Like I don't know of all the atrocities that have happened to Black people in America. that's when you just like, bro, I'm not mad at you for not knowing that. That's not your fault.
You know what's
Like,
crazy? This is the same conversation that happened when Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole were silent when the whole George Floyd situation was happening. People was saying all these different things. Meanwhile, both of them was photographed on different marches and stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know. We just have this strange infatuation with like what the celebrity has to say.
Yeah, it's annoying. But like I was saying though, I think what it is too is where it's like I don't understand the historical connection or context to everything that has happened to like Black America or whatnot. And I think that even if somebody did their due diligence and they seen these atrocities, it would take them a while to comprehend what's going on. Right. But like you mentioned, and I'll jump off of that, but you mentioned the Kendrick Lamar thing. I think nobody said it better than Schoolboy Q. After Nipsey got shot, people were like, yo, why hasn't he said anything? Why hasn't Schoolboy Q said anything about Nipsey's death? Right. And he responded, but he said, yo, I'm grieving in real life. Like I'm grieving in real life. People expect you to grieve on fucking social media.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Like, this is the sad part. Like, as a 38-year-old man, I know what life is like without a fucking smartphone. I lived enough life without a smartphone to know that when I get and I kneel down and pray, I'm actually praying. Some people just get on the phone and say prayers, and they didn't actually pray for you at all. They just said prayers. We've become so engulfed and swallowed by digital that we forgot how to be analog. And that's a problem. That's a fucking problem. We really, and it's weird. There are some people, they call it social media, right? It's social media when people get on there and they like your posts and they write stuff and they crack jokes, and you can see that same person in the store and they will avoid you because they've become socially weird. Oh man, I've had that happen a few times. I was like, hey, what's up? And they'll be like looking around, like walking. I'm like, what the fuck? And some people will be like, hey, did I see you earlier at that place? And you be like,
they message you afterwards.
Like, you fucking weirdo. I talk to people in real life. I don't have a social problem. The way you hear me on this podcast and how we interact, that's how I interact with regular people out in the real world.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that we forgot. We forgot how to process empathy. We forgot how to process conversations.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing because we don't know what's going on in anybody's personal life.
No,
we don't know. Like you said, the type of connections DJ Khaled still has over there, or, Drake has over there, or what his mom is feeling, or what his his other side of the family is feeling. So. We just don't know. I don't know. We have this idea that
you got a fucking answer for everything.
Yeah, and that we also live our lives on social media. Like, that I think most people don't realize is that social media is curated to what we want to show the world. We live out of the 24 hours of the day, somebody might get a glimpse of something that's going on in our lives, maybe once or twice a week, and the normal person ain't posting every day, so outside of that, like, a lot of people post on their stories daily, just them working out and stuff like that. But just look at anybody's social media and just look at like the content, right? Most people are just posting like the dope pictures that, they might have had a photo shoot or something like that on their story. They may post funny things or something like that, but you don't know where this person works.
No,
you don't know, you might see them in the gym, but you don't know what Planet Fitness they go to. It's like 5 or 6 around Bakersfield. They could be at any one of them, so you just don't, we never really stop to think that like people's social media is what they want us to see.
100%.
And that's for anybody's content. As much as you think Kendrick Lamar, or as much as you think J. Cole, they're only revealing to us what we don't even know what their kids look like. You know what I mean? Like We don't even really see, we barely see their partners, you know, so, or their wives. So it's just like, as much as you think you know these people, like they're only showing us what they want us to see.
100%. And I'll say this and we'll move on. But it's crazy how social media will have you thinking that you're a failure because you're comparing your life to someone who is only showing you what they want you to see.
Yeah.
See, they showed you them standing out in front of that car, but they didn't tell you it was rented.
Yeah.
They showed you standing out in front of that. They were standing out in front of that nice house, but they didn't tell you that that was their brother-in-law's house.
Yeah, we you know, we've talked to some guys with, you know, nice things and stuff like that, and you start to peel back the layers and realize, like, oh, you know, you start to ask questions like, oh, okay, like so you only did this for the clicks or for the social media, you know, and it's like ain't nothing wrong with it, but it's just like it just makes us realize like how invested we are into the story,
right?
And that is just like you said, they're kind of curating these cars and watches and jewelry and stuff to what they want or what they want to show us.
I think it's much better to be the guy that has the things and the wealth or whatever you have and not have it on social media. Because when somebody sees you out in public and you really living like that, it hits way different.
Yeah.
Way different. If all of a sudden you see me, I'm in LA, I got this, you know, with me, I like classic cars. You might see me in maybe an old Charger or something like that. And I'm just rolling down with pitch black windows. And he's like, holy shit, that's Eddie. You thought I was just this guy that couldn't afford that. Right?
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Switching gears. Jada Pinkett. All right, well, we got to talk about this. We really didn't want to, but you gave us no choice, Jada. You kept talking.
Yeah, we tried to put it off for like a couple months now. You know, she said a couple things. We took it off the docket, but not today.
And be like, it's unsolicited information that nobody asked for. Like society will just be moving along just fine. And all of a sudden Jada will be like, Tupac love anal. You'd be like, what the fuck is going on here? Nobody asked you for anything. Yeah. But like to narrow down what happened recently, Jada Pinkett just had a bunch of these revelations. Like she talked about she was shocked that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock because she thought it was a skit. She also was shocked that Will Smith referred to her as his wife because he hadn't said it a long time. She also mentioned that they had been separated for 7 years but not legally divorced. She also said that Chris Rock tried to get at her when he found out that they was having issues in their marriage. She also talked about
Chris Rock tried to slide in them DMs.
Chris Rock is like, I would love some pussy if I could. Jada. Oh, they spinning, nigga. They spinning. Jada got that ball pussy.
Dang.
No, but she also.
Does a carpet match the drapes?
Oh man. Oh, that's crazy.
When the comedians be doing they Chris Rock hands,
the fingers.
That must be comedy.
I had to ask Jada for her birth certificate because she had an 18-year-old vagina. It was bald. No, man. She also talked about Tupac proposing to her. She also talked about Tupac having alopecia, but he was too embarrassed for people to know this. And it's just like, I mean, I know
that's what I was saying back in the day. You were saying like it might have been a little bit.
I
of
didn't
both.
say it. Somebody had mentioned he got knocked upside the head, and that's so he had 2 knots and he had bald spots right there.
Yeah. So it might have been a mixture of both. Who knows? Yeah.
Either or. All I know is this is all unsolicited shit that she's done. And
she's alopecia advocate.
Yeah, like shut up.
Okay.
Like there's so many people that have that shit. But the thing about her too is this is how you know it's bad. Jada has done so much that even women then turned on her. They said, "Oh, we can't support this.
Yeah,
we can't support this." And I'll say this too. I don't feel I felt bad for Will, but then again, I didn't. It's complete emasculation. But I think whenever you're disrespected by your partner, right? Initially, it's their fault. They shouldn't be disrespecting you. But when you don't check that shit, Now you become a willful participant in your own emasculation. As a man, when women can only love a man as much as they respect him. When you allow women to disrespect you, they despise you because they like, look at this sorry motherfucker letting me walk all over him. I hate this motherfucker. That's how women will process it. And this sounds terrible with what I'm about to say, but I was telling Keith this earlier. Jada is so toxic and dysfunctional. She seems like the type of woman that needs to be with a man that tell her to shut the fuck up and call her a bitch. I'm serious. I'm not even laughing. I'm serious. There are some women out there that are like, they only respond to a disrespectful man that is literally demeaning them. Mm-hmm. I've seen it. I've seen people I've seen couples out in public. Like, bitch, you always getting on my nerves. Shut the fuck up, bitch. I'm trying to do this. Shut up. And they're like, all right. Okay, I'll be quiet. And it's like, damn, she really responded to being called a bitch and being told to shut the fuck up. And that's the sad thing about it. And I think that whenever a woman is receptive to that type of energy and disrespect, you can never be with women like that if you are a gentleman. Never be a gentleman to a woman that's not gentle. Mm-hmm. That's where men fuck up. Don't do it. Once you've noticed that she is not receptive to respect, she's not receptive to being kind, she's not receptive to speaking in private about matters. Whenever a woman is even publicly like accosting you, like you could be around family and she says something that's disparaging about you, you got to stop her right there and pull her to the side and say, hey, look, maybe you didn't mean it, but I want to let you know that you just don't do that again, okay? Mm-hmm. If you don't check that shit, she gonna keep fucking doing it. Period. Some people, because, and I forgot who mentioned this, but it's the truth. It said that women understand that men are too big and physical and imposing, so they cannot beat a man physically, but mentally they can fuck you up. Women own real estate in men's minds when a man is not mentally strong enough. Mm-hmm. They will fuck him up. Why do you think strip clubs are so popular? Men will go work hard all week, do overtime, go into the strip club, and then little what's her stage name? Powder Puff to the stage. Fucking Powder Puff goes in. Powder Puff walks off stage and she's, she fucking has this little sensual voice and she's like, how was your day at work? How are things going? She knows you're mentally weak. And in fucking 30 minutes, she spent $700 now. Some of
them be giving it up.
Huh?
Some of them be giving it up.
Oh, it would take about.
If you spend 7, 8, you might get something out of that.
Might get some waterfalls, huh?
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Listen to the rivers and the lakes that you used to.
That'll be $800 for sex. I don't know why that clicked in my mind when I said that. Oh man, you remember the video to that TLC song? Mm-hmm. When the dude had AIDS? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
His health is fading and he doesn't know why. Like, songs actually had messages back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Like, their songs really, the only people that really have messages in songs is some rap artists and country singers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, country singers be having full-fledged stories.
Yeah.
Came home from work and my truck didn't start. I had to call my grandpa down and get my truck started up. I went on home. I thought I was alone. But my whore wife was sleeping with my neighbor. I had to kill the whore. You like, damn, is this a true story?
This is a true story.
This dude needs to be arrested. What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, why you doing a song with fucking why you doing a song? What's dude's name? Wallen?
Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, you got a song with Morgan Wallen, bro.
Yeah.
They need to get you on a RICO charge or something. Yeah, but anyways, I think that when a man is mentally weak and he doesn't check the situation and he just leaves it, like, I feel like I can't feel empathy that much for Will because he became a willful participant in his own demise. And also, why are you not divorced? You decided, you said in 2017 we decided to separate but not divorce. Why not?
I don't get that.
The only thing I could think of, and mind you, I know nothing. The only thing I can think of is that Will Smith did this shit to protect his fucking image. And I think if that's the case, then that's abuse towards Jada. Because you making her stay in a relationship she don't want to fucking be in. She ain't liked you in years. She probably ain't gave him pussy in years. And then to make it worse, Jada's such a piece of shit. She fucked her son's friend. So imagine your friend is fucking your mom and everybody knows it. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. I don't think Will is holding anybody hostage.
If he's not, then what? Why the fuck are they still legally married? And I don't understand.
What I'm saying is both of them that are they're together in this arrangement or whatever they call it because of both of their decisions. You know, it's not just Jada Pinkett doing anything. It's not just Will Smith. This is something that they think in their mind is okay. But the thing that I don't understand is like, I don't get it because like it doesn't seem like a spiritual thing. It doesn't seem like a Christian thing where, you know, divorce is kind of looked at negatively. It just seems like, I don't know. I really don't know the reason. But if you're going to, adultery is when somebody is married steps out on their partner and you're committing adultery. And that's looked at, even if we're thinking about it in terms of like Christianity or, you know, the Christian faith or whatever the case may be, that's actually grounds for divorce, you know, and we know how, you know, I think that's even in the 10 Commandments. So I just don't understand like what the reasoning is behind like legally staying married, but also like living separate lives. I like that literally doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah.
But I just think that my stance on it is like, you know, I don't really have I'm not really going to point the finger at who should, whose fault it is or who should take onus or whatever the case may be. I just think that I know what it looks like when two people shouldn't be in a relationship. And this is coming from like, you know, family members that I know and even, you know, what my parents' relationship kind of looks like. When you think about Will Smith, he has a famous story where he talks about throwing Jada Pinkett a party, and how he pulled out all the stops. He created this documentary. He had like, I think it was like Mary J. Blige there singing. He had all her friends, a family, the whole nine. It was like a 3-day event. Everybody was there, and she ended up like hating it. She didn't like the party at all. She thought it was just too much. She much rather have, you know, wanted something small and quaint. And I think she just didn't show up to the last day. And, you know, they got into a big old argument, I believe. And, you know, Will was mad and she was mad. And it was just, the whole thing. What happened was Will Smith kind of blamed himself. Like he kind of came to this conclusion that he was full of himself. Like he did that in order to, he's a showman. He's an entertainer. So he did that as kind of like exemplifying who he really was, a person that just kind of goes above and beyond. And he made it about himself. You know, he wasn't really thinking about Jada Pinkett. So my interpretation was that Will Smith kind of blamed himself. Like, yeah, I did do too much in that situation, and I probably should have listened to what she was saying. But the way I think about it is like, if you do something extremely extravagant for somebody and they don't appreciate it and they kind of make you feel bad for actually doing it, I think that says more about the person that's receiving the gift than it says about the person that's putting on the show. Because when it comes to like love languages, we always talk about love languages and, you know, acts of kindness and affection or touch, physical touch, and all these different things. We got to understand that love languages is a conversation about how a person displays their love. So for Will Smith, he probably displays his love through, acts of kindness or gifts or, services or whatever the case may be. And for a person that is in a relationship with him, they have to understand that that's how he expresses his love, right? And for you to kind of like, kind of demean, like, kind of shut that down or like, like kill his vibe in a sense in that situation, I think that says more about Jada Pinkett. So the way I look at it is like, even for, I think about it as like a little kid, right? Anybody that got kids out there or young nieces or nephews or even grandkids or whatever the case may be, during school, during Valentine's Day, during Father's Day, during Mother's Day, the kids in school would always make the little cards or, they would always try to make dad like a little Father's Day meal or something. They may wake up and, make some eggs, but it might still be some shells in the eggs, or they might have burned the toast or whatever. The food might not be that great, but as a father figure, you're going to eat the food and act like it's the best food ever, And I think that that's kind of the type of energy that, I would assume that somebody that loves a husband would have, for their husband. And then maybe later on, they can have a conversation about it like, hey, this year, I know you went all out last year, but this year I would just like something small. I would like something that, just the immediate family. We can go out to dinner. No, you don't get to do
that. Don't give me anything. Don't tell me what you want for your birthday. If like as your man, if I love you and I do something for you, accept the gift. That's what a gift is. It's no longer a gift when you get to put your input in on it. Not to mention, I'll put this in layman's terms. When women don't love you, there's nothing you can do to make them happy. They want out. So the only thing you could do for Jada Pinkett instead of that birthday party is dig up Tupac and give her some thug life dick. Besides that, ain't nothing else she could do. I almost feel like Will Smith is like a fucking masochist or something, because it must be some weird role play they got with the way that she abuses this guy and he sticks around. I don't understand what do you fucking have to gain from that? I don't get it, dude. And to say that he made it all about him. And also, too, you could tell if a person is not happy for you, because Will Smith in the 90s was bigger than just about anybody. Like Will Smith during Fresh Prince and even post Fresh Prince, Will was massive. Flat top Will Smith was massive. And when he threw that party and he had all them people there, it just reminded her of what she wasn't. You got to remember that Jada Pinkett is also a creative. She's an actress and all of those things, but she couldn't hold the candle to Will Smith. So when you are in a relationship, and I think she is jealous, I'm gonna be honest. If you are in a relationship with somebody you're jealous of, you really don't love them. Bro, imagine this. Imagine I'm an actor and I met this girl and she's an actress, right? And we're both struggling actors. And her career goes fucking berserk. I'm talking about she's on all these different movies and everything. If I'm still trying to get a role in a film and I'm not making money, I'm going to be so fucking happy for my girlfriend. I will read her lines back to her. Whatever the case, I will support her in any way that I can. But Jada Pinkett just sounds like she wants Tupac's cock. She does not sound like she wants to be a wife. This is disgusting, and I'm tired of fucking hearing it. And it keeps happening. But the thing about it, the only reason why we had to mention it too, because now there is just so many new elements of it. Mm-hmm. The revelation of Tupac having alopecia. Not to mention, like, this man is dead. He can't speak for himself. You might want to tread lightly on bringing up Tupac all the fucking time. The next thing she's gonna do is she gonna start talking about the sex. This is gonna be the next thing she talks about. Like, oh, the biggest difference between Will and Tupac is because Tupac was a very dominant man in the bedroom, and he really took me to the next level. and it's like,
the thing that I don't like is that there's no consistency in the narrative.
Right.
When the movie came out, Jada Pinkett had said something along the lines of, I didn't like the movie and me and Tupac never had a romantic relationship. And then now she's saying that he proposed to her while he was in prison. And, I don't know how.
Then she proceeds to call him a friend. Anybody that tries to propose to you is not a friend.
Yeah.
There was some pussy given up at some point. Like, stop the cap. Just stop the cap. Stop calling that man a friend. That was your man at one point. Tupac was your man at one point.
And you say he's just a friend. Girl, I can be your
I bet
fantasy.
you. I wonder if Tupac made that song about Jada. Wonder why they call you bitch. I bet you. Wonder why they call you bitch. Wonder why they call you bitch. I bet you. She said if she was married to Tupac, Tupac would have left her. Do you hear that?
Wait, say that again.
She said if she actually did like accept the proposal from Tupac and they got married, Tupac would have left her. He's like, he would have left me, girl. He would have left me. I'm just like, what?
Like he just like he would have got tired of her? Or what?
I don't know. I don't know what she was implying. All I know is I think that the normalcy or the normal behavior in her life in a relationship was like toxic shit. What people need to understand is that when men and women come from toxic backgrounds and relationships, it ain't no changing that. Toxic people will meet functional people and fuck them up. They will run you up and down a roller coaster. This is why if you know that you are a mentally healthy and loving person and you have a decent heart and you reciprocate energy, when you're that type of person and you meet this girl and you like, you know, she came from a toxic relationship or whatever, but she's a really fun girl. She's really nice, and I want to give her a chance. Fuck that. Don't do it.
The only thing I would say is, man, you know, we can point the finger at whoever, but just on the outside looking in and from a general public standpoint, it looks like Jada Pinkett is ruining our, you know, a person we really admire. You know, an entertainer that we really admire.
Yeah, we'll have a place in that though.
I know that's that's your opinion, but what I'm saying from the general standpoint, it looks like Jada Pinkett is ruining Will Smith. Mm-hmm. But I think that to kind of summarize this whole relationship, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock for, you know, saying something about an alopecia G.I. Jane joke about Jada Pinkett, you know, keep my wife's name out your mouth, right? And all she does, she don't say nothing for like 3-4 months or however, I don't remember how, it was like last year.
I was shocked.
All she says is that we ain't called each other husband and wife in 7 years. This man lost out on being a member of the Academy Awards for slapping somebody for saying disrespectful stuff about his wife, his legal wife. And all she has to say, you know, however many months later, is that we ain't called each other husband and wife in so long. And that was the most shocking part about the whole situation.
That's who she is, though.
That is crazy.
That's who she is. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them, bro.
Yeah.
That's to me, bro, like we seeing this from the outside and we like, oh, she's ruining Will Smith, but we not inside that house. We're like, it's all kind of abuse. Jada Pinkett, she looked like the type of girl that will go have sex and then record it and then send it in a text message to Will.
That's wild.
Like she seemed like that type of person. That's what I like. She seemed like she got like like some type of secret OnlyFans account or something like that. I don't know what's up with Jada, bro. I really don't. Mm-hmm. All I know is this shit is not over. I mark my words because we have purposely ignored it. I think we've done a great job of ignoring conversations with Jada Pinkett, and we barely had to acknowledge it now, just because this has been, besides the fucking war in Palestine and Israel, this is like the second thing.
It was a wild thing where like Will Smith had posted something. He had posted something like a happy birthday or something like that. And then Jada Pinkett on the same day posted Tupac and her rapping Will Smith song.
Oh my God.
It'd be some wild stuff, dog. I just don't, I can't really wrap my mind around it, but I hope that, my hope for both of them is that they get an actual divorce.
Then you get the fuck on.
Like the legal divorce, go file the paperwork, you know, get, I don't know what the severance packages is gonna look like, but just file for divorce and just move on with your life, man. Because I don't know.
Will, and it was sad as Will doesn't even acknowledge it, right? Like they'll be like, so Will, she mentioned that she had much better sex with Tupac. Is there anything you would like to say about that? I mean, it's before me. It's not much I can do about that. But I got a great movie coming out right now, y'all. You really like this one. Like it's the old movie where I'm fighting zombies, right? And like the zombies are trying to kill me, but because I'm the last man on the planet, I have to take my German Shepherd and we have to fight. And it's a great, I Am Legend 2. Like literally, there's a I Am Legend 2 coming out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I seen they had like a little bit. That's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
I heard Jada's gonna be one of the zombies in this one.
That's crazy.
She's gonna be running like Tupac. She looked like one of them too. That's crazy.
One of the zombies gonna have alopecia with a Thug Life tattoo across his chest.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Will Smith is gonna pay one of the CGI guys to put like a CGI Tupac with a Thug Life zombie on it.
He gonna kill that.
He gonna be the first one he gonna kill. Oh man,
that's crazy,
man. All right, shout out to Tupac, man. Rest in peace, Pac.
Yeah.
I think you know what? Hold on. Before we move on, and we're gonna move on from this, folks. I'm sorry. I know we've been talking about this for a while. This whole little rollout is way too convenient. They just found Tupac's killer, and here comes Jada Pinkett with her book rollout. Mm-hmm. I feel like all these things are connected. That little new series of Who Shot Tupac and finding Tupac's fucking murderer or his, one of the guys involved in his death. Mm-hmm. And then now her coming out with these new Tupac revelations. I just feel like it's all too convenient.
Yeah.
This is too convenient, man.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, let's let Tupac rest. I know if we keep talking about Tupac, it's gonna be like that movie Candyman, where you look in the mirror and you say Candyman like 4 times, and then this big black guy with a hook on his hand is like, Caroline. Now it's gonna be Tupac like, why y'all niggas keep talking about me? I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going. I think we haven't heard the last of this Tupac situation.
How do you want it?
I think that the dude Keefy D. I think he's gonna start singing whenever he get on trial.
Oh yeah. He's gonna say something.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
So they're gonna have Jada as a witness up there. So Jada, what do you take away from Tupac's murder? Was there any type of poems or things he wrote to you prior to him dying? He's like, yes, actually in the song "How Do You Want It," he was talking about me. That's the last time we had an encounter with each other. And
she had an entanglement with Tupac,
and it briefly mentions like the doggy style part, and that is the last thing that we actually had prior to him being shot, Your Honor. Like, how is this information pertinent information to the crime? Like, well, there's a connection there. I have a book that just got released. Order in the court. Oh man. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on.
Free will, man.
Huh?
I said free will.
That's a whale, bro.
What?
You said Free Willy?
Oh, God.
That's a whale, bro. What are you talking about? Some of these people that listen, they might not be old enough to remember that movie.
Free Willy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, switching gears. Hey, ladies, hey, man, you guys you ain't doing so great this week, man. Ladies, you gotta step it up.
Hot girls is losing.
Yeah, the hot girls is down, man. You got 2 stories. We'll kind of intertwine them. There's a woman that went on a date and ate 48 fucking oysters, which is a wild story. And there's another woman that was going on a date with a man, but when he pulled up to the Cheesecake Factory, she didn't even get out of the car because she felt she was too good to eat at the Cheesecake Factory. Let's talk about the 48 oysters girl. She mentioned on the TikTok, she said, you know what? Like, he been in my DMs and I haven't been replying to him. He been basically talking to himself in my DMs, trying to get me to take him out. But you know what? He offered me drinks, so why not? And they went to this place that's like, I think it was in Atlanta. I could be wrong, but it's known for its oysters, I guess, some really good oysters. And as she's on a date with this guy, she orders the food and she's just slurping up oysters, putting hot sauce all over them. You can hear her slurping, slurping, and she did it to get a free meal. And
he probably was thinking the head gonna be crazy if she's slurping up them oysters.
Well, the thing that's crazy, somebody made a good point. They said, I don't see how she ate 48 oysters when I can only eat like 6. Like 48 oysters is enough for me, Keith, and a couple family members.
Yeah.
She ate 48 oysters at once. I don't even want to know what her bowels look like. She's probably shitting out the fucking oceans coming out of there. Oh my God. She's got coral coming out of her fucking ass. But it was basically she was doing that and slurping it up and eating, and the guy dismissed himself and went to the restroom, and he ended up skipping out on that bill. He didn't pay for it. Yeah, and I wouldn't pay for it either. But this is where men got to do better. Don't all of a sudden try to find a backbone when you got this girl on this date. You should have never been out with her nowhere. This is the same woman that didn't reply to your messages. Don't ever be with a woman that has not reciprocated the same interest in you. That's where men fuck up. Like you gotta let women need to prove stuff to men, meaning you need to prove to me that you are as interested in me as I am in you. That's it. That's all you got to prove to me. But I feel like that's a fair ask. I shouldn't pursue, chase. You got me fucked up. Ain't enough time in the day. We're all adults here. If I show you that I have interest in you and you don't reciprocate that, I respect that. God bless you. You have a great day, ma'am. Ain't nothing else for us to talk about. It's okay.
Yeah.
But like, don't be the guy that keeps on initiating. And then she finally gets weak enough to go on a date with you. By the time you get her out, she has no respect for you. This woman slurped up 48 oysters and was slurping loud.
Yeah.
Right? And it was obviously not in a sexual way. She sounded like one of those fucking... What was the Christmas gifts back in the day with the hungry hippo? That's what she sounded like. So it's like, dude, that ain't it, man.
I just think that, like you said, I think that you just got to be mindful of where you put your energy into. And I get it. I mean, I'm in a relationship now, so I'm not speaking about like currently, but like in terms of like just that used to be me, the guy that was a little bit desperate, that was like, I don't know if I've hit somebody up that consistently, but I definitely been a person that has like, sent multiple messages and not gotten a response as a younger version of myself. But I just think that, like you said, you got to take the hint, and you got to realize like on the other end of that, it's a person that is seeing that desperate person, and they're seeing, they're seeing all those messages. They may not be opening them, but they seeing all them DMs that pop up, the notifications, or they may have you muted and they just scrolling through their messages and they see, the bold letters of, the hey or what you doing or whatever the case may be. But what probably, happen is on a night where the 3 or 4 niggas that she actually like or that she actually like communicating with,
they took a break from her.
Yeah, they wasn't messing with her. They, they might have gotten a relationship themselves or whatever the case may be. And then she was like, let me see what this dude doing. And then, he wanted to take me on a date. I'm a little bit hungry anyway, so I give him the time of day. And then she went out and she took advantage of the situation and ate 48 oysters. I think
that just the type of woman that would use a man in that way is not okay.
Yeah.
I think they're both wrong. I think he's wrong because he went out on a date expecting, a woman's company. Like, the thing about it, bro, is when a woman is lukewarm on you or cold, don't take her out anywhere. That should be the rule. And I'm not saying women should be sprung on you. I'm not saying that, but she needs to have enthusiasm. Be around women who have enthusiasm around you. When you take them out, they don't mind being with you. Like, you don't got to go to a fucking 5-star restaurant on the first date. Like, no, I feel like taking a woman on a first date to a 5-star restaurant is not a proper representation of my finances. It's not.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Like, and I do all right, but I'm not taking the only way I'm going to some upscale restaurant is if you're my lady, because you're worth the money. If I'm with you and I chose you, then you are worth it. And I will make sure that I treat you the way you deserve to be treated.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I'm just getting to know you.
Yeah, in the courting phase.
Yeah, we haven't built any real like freaking like rapport. So no, I'm not. And also when women want to be taken to these places and they say like, I want to go to this restaurant and it's at least 800 to 1,000 to get in. What world do you live? What world do you live in where a man is making that money legally for one, right? Where they can spend that money on you, and also, there's no long term, investment from yourself. If you're referencing a man's finances, then what are you trying to do? Because as soon as he's not making that money, you're going to be gone. We live in a weird time, man. We've allowed too many people with large platforms to brainwash. And I'll say this: I think that men have had some really shitty, like as far as male artists, they have a lot of very shitty lyrics and things they say to influence the culture, like Future with the whole drugs and Molly and all of this shit. But these women now, oh Lord Jesus. These women are making regular women delusional as fuck. They thinking that you should get them. What was this whole Birkin bag thing going on for a while? You had, like, these are not real expectations. These women have a lot of money. Like the whole the Megan Thee Stallions of the world and what's the other ones? Was the JT and all these other
City Girls.
Like this shit is not real life. People have regular jobs, ladies. If you want a drug dealer, find him.
Yeah, these are like, rap artists talking about other rappers. They talking about the Drakes and the Young Thugs of the world that can, afford all of these things. Like the average person cannot afford these fancy restaurants and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think the dude, like I said, he did a little bit too much. I think it was just OD. She throwing hot sauce all on the oysters.
It's so fucking trash.
That's like real ghetto. That's some real ghetto energy. To knock back 48 oysters is crazy.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I just think that, when it comes to, picking a restaurant and like you said, in the courting phase, it's a thing where, we are trying to, you don't necessarily mind spending the money, but you also want to be very conscious of like, overdoing it, right? So as a man, this is a courting phase. We don't even know if we like each other. Yeah. I haven't even, most of the time, haven't even seen you in person yet. You know what I mean? It may be a thing where we might have met on social media. We met on a dating app and, I've seen your pictures, obviously, and we've been texting a little bit, but, I haven't even really seen you in person or like really talked to you on the phone. So, it's a whole filling out process, and you don't want to spend, $1,000 or like, like $300-400 on on eating for two people only for me to not even like you. So in those situations, like the most important thing is a conversation, and I just think that people like we said, based off of these female rappers and what they're preaching nowadays, and this is a new thing. Like the crazy part about it is the ones that are like preaching this stuff are actually women that are getting money. So I think a stronger message for them would be like, yo, I'm independent. I get money on my own, but they rapping about taking advantage of other men. So that's the crazy part.
What's crazy too is some of the lyrics, like, I don't know, man. It's weird how we allow like certain, music and culture and stuff to infiltrate reality when that's not how reality works. You know what I mean? It's just not decent in my opinion. But yeah, man, we got to do better. That's not it. And this is not a shot at just women in general. This is a isolated situation, but I'm sure there's some women that are delusional like this or disrespectful. Another one was this Cheesecake Factory lady. Her date picked her up and they pulled up to the Cheesecake Factory. And she says, look at me. Do I look like I want to go to the Cheesecake Factory? Like, I'm not doing that. And the dude said, okay, I understand. I'm going to go ahead and take you back home. And he was very respectful with how he responded. And I'm thinking like, dog, that's wild. And it's, some women are wanting too much too soon. I could be doing too much for too little, first of all, which is not cool. Also, it's not a proper reflection of my finances to take you to a fucking 5-star restaurant when I first met you. Also, I would be setting a false example of what I would be doing in the future. I think as men, a lot of men get caught up in like, they get up being a representative of themselves rather than being themselves. You know what I mean, Keith? Like they're trying to be the guy that they think you want them to be in order to get your okay, so we can either get some pussy or get in a relationship. And that's not the way you should do it, man. Yeah. Be yourself from day one. Yeah. Right? If you just got some tacos and beer money, get her some tacos and beer. She should care more about being with you anywhere y'all at rather than worried about where the fuck you going to eat. For me, it's tacos and beer or the restaurant BJ's or PF Chang's or, Applebee's or Chili's. Like that's for me, even Red Robin. I've taken some chicks to Red Robin before on the first date. Yeah. And we vibed and had a good time. Like people need to stop overthinking this shit. If you call me broke because I took you to Applebee's, well, I guess I'm broke. Go find somebody that's dumb enough to spend all that money on your ass because I'm not. Yeah. You lucky I didn't take you to Blaze Pizza. You got me fucked up.
Blaze is solid though.
Shit, if you don't come back, I'll be like, hey, you finna eat your pizza? I'll take it back. Shit. You
could build your own pizza.
You can build your own
pizza. What more
pizza.
could you ask for?
You want thicker crust or what? My crust is thick, just like you.
Nah, that's real. The thing, Cheesecake Factory is a solid restaurant.
It is.
Like, and this nigga Drake be rapping about Cheesecake Factory. You know what I mean? So I don't.
What did he say exactly?
I said, why you want to argue with me at something about that. I let it go there. Say I'm acting light skinned. I can't take you nowhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But there's a video with Tyra Banks.
I
and
thought
stuff
it was
like
a little melody or something he had going. I want to eat you like some cheesecake. Oh. That nigga Drake be saying anything.
Yeah, but I just think that I think when women now, and I don't know what it looks. I can't really generalize it, but I'm saying like these two particular women, and I guess women that are like similar or women that may agree with these women. They're living in this like just crazy world where they think everybody got it like that.
No, they
like as far as like people that we know that got like like real money, I only know like maybe a handful of people that I can say like, damn, they really out here getting it. They whether they company making $1 million or they got they done touched $1 million or they got they house might be worth $1 million. It's only a handful of those people that we know. Yeah. So, and I know a lot of people in Bakersfield. So for it only to be a handful of people, that means that y'all really limiting the amount of guys that y'all can really talk to.
Yeah.
And a lot of and half of them dudes is 75% of them is married or in relationships. So like you really hurting your chances of really being happy out here.
I will say this, and this is something that I really need women to really hear me out. I think that most women think that men should qualify for them. I'm the prize. You should qualify for me. Well, I hate to break it to you, ladies. The man that you want, the one that you think about in your mind, the one that you've made all these stories up about in your mind of what the perfect man is, you have to qualify for him. Okay? So I'm just keeping it 100. It's getting to a place where you can't assume that every man has to qualify for you. I think that you also should have to qualify for each other. You should actually have to see like, hey, he took me here, but he seems like everything is fine. Okay, look, on a first date, if a motherfucker say, let's go to Wiener Schnitzel, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's a low ball.
I think Chad Johnson took his girl to McDonald's on the first date.
But just hear it out. See what it's about. You might end up going to Wiener Schnitzel and you have such a good time that you forgot that you eating hot dogs.
Yeah.
This dude might make you laugh. I just don't know if people's objective is love anymore. I don't think people want love. I think they want attention. That's all it is. You just want to go to these 5-star restaurants so you can put it on Instagram. You don't really want to find love from a man. You need to check yourself, because what's happening is along the way, people are being infiltrated along the way of your journey of not knowing what you want. Mm-hmm. You're going to have every man thinking like, man, all these women want is your money. Bro, there are still women out there that do want genuine love. But on the other end of that, there are men who have been used and have had their time wasted. And now you got a bunch of men and women that just are tired and they expect the worst from each other. And it's fucked up.
I think that it depends, right? Like, some people not looking for love. Some people is taking somebody on a date so that on date number 2 or shortly after date number 1, they can knock her down or whatever the case may be. And
2 or 3, that's usually sex range.
Yeah. So I say that to say, like, if you a guy and we both know why we here. We know that we not trying to build no long-term relationship. I'm just trying to build a rapport with you so I can, we could generate this friend with benefits type of situation. And so if you in that situation, why would you even think about spending $400 on a date for something that y'all really not really kicking it like that? You just like, like you say, you just trying to make sure I'm not no serial killer. I'm trying to make sure you cool. I'm trying to make sure the pictures look just like the Instagram or whatever the case may be. That's kind of really all. This is a filling out process. Like, this is like spring training, basically.
Man, I hit her with this like, yeah, girl, I am a serial killer. I love eating Captain Munch.
Oh, God.
She used to call me on my cell phone. No, because Drake like a Cheesecake Factory. Mm-hmm. She used to call me on my cheesecake. Late night when you need my cheese. Call me on my cheesecake. And I know when that cheesecake blinks.
That can only mean one thing.
Remember he had that dance?
Yeah.
That little dance he made up?
Yeah.
Like, that's like Drake. We about to get into Drake next, but
Highlight and Bling was a smash.
that was a fucking smash. Some people like, I'm tired of hearing that song. I'm like, bro, I love that song, bro.
Yeah, that song was dope.
Yeah, that was dope. All right, let's go ahead and move on, man. We've heard enough. We've heard enough about these very evil women that exist around here. You ladies got to tighten up, all right?
Yeah.
Stop making things so hard for everybody, all right?
Yeah.
Now you tell your
I will say I think that men should approach it just like how he did. Like, all right, cool. Like, you don't want to go to Cheesecake, cool. I saved my $50, $60 or however much I was gonna spend tonight.
There's no need to make a scene and get mad and be yelling and shit. Don't. Like, it's even like even if you're out on a date and it's not going great, right? Let's say that she's done something that's kind of disrespectful and you've already got the food. Just call the waiter over and say, hey, here, I want to go ahead and pay for it. So go ahead and pay for it because you did ask her to go out with you. Go ahead and pay it and then just leave her fucking ass sitting there.
Yeah. And then after you leave, you go home, get you a bottle of lotion, pull up Pornhub.com on your laptop and beat your meat. I
mean, it's unfortunate though, because I've been in that situation. You go on a date and you be like, I should have just stayed home and beat my meat. I'd have saved fucking $90. I was hoping you would beat my meat, but now I gotta beat my own fucking meat. It cost me $90 to bust a nut today.
What is a bad date? Like, what is it like in your terms? Like,
just a bad date is a woman that is extremely distracted, is more engaged by what's going on her phone, and
you've been on like a date like that where she
I've been on a date.
Phone?
Yeah, I've been on a date where she was very like obviously not into me, and I wasn't letting it bother me. I was just keeping the energy good and whatnot. And she was, in her mind, she probably thought she wasn't being like dismissive or disrespectful, but she was way too captivated by what was going on her phone. And when a woman is if you ever see the silhouette of a woman's phone and it looks like the text message screen's open and she's smiling, she's texting another man.
Why you on a date? That's wild.
So it's like, I'm not going to be the clown that's on a date with you while you smiling at somebody else on the phone. So what's going to happen is somebody said something that had me busting up. They said, if you're on a date, you pay for the date, and then she gets a doggy bag and she doesn't finish her food, she's going to take that food home to the dude that's fucking her.
Dang.
So you don't got...
He going to eat that cheesecake, huh?
Yeah, he going to eat the cheesecake and pussy.
Dang.
He getting cheesecake, pussy, and whatever leftover potato wedges that she got.
Dang.
You know what I can't stand though, and this is just off the whatever. I hate it when you take women out, and they'll be a little on the thicker side, and which is fine, but then they act like, I'm just not hungry at all. Like, you know, they eat like motherfucking. They eat like a little small salad. Like, I'm so full already, and it's like, girl, do you think I'm dumb? You think you got that thick by you not eating?
Yeah.
They just don't want to. They don't want to eat on the first date.
They don't want to look bad.
It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Just eat. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I think to me it's kind of like not like the 48 oysters. That's fucking overboard. But like if you with a girl on a date and she ordered a burger and the fries and she fucking it up, I'm like, okay, cool. She like to eat. That's cool. I'm not tripping on it. I'm not judging you because you doing a human thing. You eating food. Who am I to judge?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Do your thing, girl.
Yeah.
Get you some food. You know
I've been around some women that order a big ass burrito, and I'm like, ain't no way she gonna eat all that. Ain't no fucking way. And they'll be like, I was so hungry. I'm like, God damn. Like, you 120 pounds. What the
Knocking
fuck?
it back.
Bruh.
Crazy.
Bro, it's some skinny. It's the skinny ones be the sneaky ones.
Yeah.
The ones that's kind of skinny, they be eating a lot of food.
You know it's a terrible date? Going to the movies.
It is. It's just a setup for fucking.
I think the reason I think it is terrible is not for a first date. Like, you know, a couple dates in, you could go to the movies.
That's
but
true, yeah.
You just there's no room to talk. Like, y'all just like, you could talk afterwards or whatever the case may be. But you know, y'all, you know, and for me, I'm like I'm not, like I said, I'm in a relationship, but like, for me, I'm like a real movie guy. You know what I mean? I'm talking about themes and frames and colors and all this other stuff. And then you could be talking to somebody that's just like, oh, that was a cool movie. I liked it a lot. You know, you're just trying to have like an in-depth conversation about, you know, the characters and what happens in the second act and stuff. And, you know, they just not giving you what you want. So
yeah, Keith, a nerd out during a film. You're like, oh, right here they use the molecular energy.
Molecular energy. They use a 50 millimeter camera right here.
Right there is where when they turn it, they use fiber optics.
Fiber optics.
Oh man,
that's crazy.
It's like that part where they zoomed in and they zoomed out on Brad Pitt's face. I love the cinematography right there. Oh man. Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. Switching gears. We'll close it with this one. Drake released his album For the Dogs. That's what it's called, correct?
For All the Dogs.
For All the Dogs.
Yeah.
And I listened to that album front to back. I listened at least 4 times, and I will say,
you listened 4 times?
You
listened to it 4 times?
Yeah.
Dang.
But not like it wasn't like consistent. Like I would skip, go back to a song I didn't know, but I would go through the playlist. I would go forward, or I would listen to so many songs because you only have the capacity to do so much.
It's a long album too.
It is a long album, but I listen multiple times to just find different songs I like. And I will say, art is subjective, so you don't want to get caught up saying this is bad, this is good. But to me, I wasn't crazy about it. That's what I will say. Right. And hopefully the album continues to grow on me, but I would like parallel this to that last album Kanye came out with. I forgot what it was called, but you know what I'm talking about. Donda. Like, this is like right.
Oh, this is. Wait, you think it's on that level?
Yeah, I think it is.
Really?
Yeah, I think
I thought Donda was fire.
You thought Donda was fire? I didn't.
Yeah,
I thought Donda was a decent project. It's the best I would give Donda. Is it was decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, and ultimately, I just don't feel like anyone is above reproach. And Drake got a little frustrated with podcaster and ex-rapper Joe Budden. Joe Budden has a very popular podcast and has a hit song called Pump It Up from back in 2003. Mm-hmm. And I guess Drake got really pissed off and he said some things about Joe Budden, and I will pull that link up right now. All right, Drake fires back at Joe Budden after, for all the dogs criticism, you have failed at music, end quote, Drake. And basically Joe Budden, in quote, said he rapping for the children. Yo, dog, I had to look up how old this nigga was, and I finished listening to the album. You 36. Your birthday is in 20 days. I Googled that, too. You're going to be 37. Get the fuck away from those young-ass niggas and stop fucking these 25-year-old women. The podcaster continued, I want to hear adult Drake rapping for adult people. He's rapping for the kids, the streams, and the accolades. He ain't trying to rap for me. I accept that. He says, at Joe Budden, this is what Drake said. You have failed at music. Drake began his lengthy message. You left it behind to do what you're doing in this clip because this is what actually pays your bills. For any artist watching this, just remember you are watching a failure. What the fuck? What's up with this? God damn it. It's like, this is weird, these websites, popping these pop-ups. For any artist watching this, just remember you are watching a failure give their opinion on his idea of a recipe for success. A quitter gave their opinion on how to achieve longevity. You switched careers because the things that pop in your brain had you broke living check to check, and the raps you write had 450 men showing up to your dusty Nietzsche jeans to screw up their face to mood music. Let me move forward. He wrote some long, just fucking tangent. He said, please, any artist is doing what they feel is right. Don't let these opinions affect your mindset. After the Star wrote, this guy is the poster child of frustration and surrendering. You retired and we never hung up your jersey. We don't even remember your number. We don't know you for doing this. You withdrew from rap because you accomplished all you need to because it wasn't working for you. Jesus Christ. He kept going on. Jesus, I didn't know he wrote all this. Jesus. Fucking Drake. This last part really just was corny as fuck what Drake said, though. He said, if you need to put it in simpler terms, I own a 767. He owns a modest house in 973 and flies first class on special occasions. Drake, most people don't have a private jet, you fucking idiot. That to me is like, come on, bro. That was corny. That was corny. I got to call it out on that one. Yeah, and I think that when you need to keep it to what Joe Budden said. And also, you can't go toe-to-toe with a podcaster by writing a little quote on Instagram. You need to have a long-form conversation about this because Joe Budden is whooping your ass right now. And then Joe Budden at the very end said, this is all he said. He said, hold on. Oh, here it is in quote. You'll grow up sooner or later. Father Time is undefeated. That's what Joe Budden said. After all that long ass tangent you said. And then also Joe got paid money because he put shit behind a paywall and he could talk about you for hours now. You will never win. What a lot of these musicians need to understand is that when they have a rebuttal to a podcaster, you are on his playground now. You're not going to beat this guy. Just take the criticism and move the fuck on.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the right to be upset. I get it. You're human. We all are. But you are not above reproach, Drake. I think you might be frustrated because people are not receiving the album the way you assume they should be receiving it. Right? And you called him a failure at hip hop. That's false. He has a hit record. Most artists in no genre have a hit record. Mm-hmm. Most artists in no genre have a hit record like Joe Budden did. Not to mention, he was actually a decent artist. He just didn't have, he didn't have mainstream success like you did. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is to compare your finances to someone else as if that's a metric for what's good or bad. That's fucking corny. I don't like that.
Yeah, that is a little much.
That was fucking weak. Mm-hmm. That was weak. But I do feel like Drake does have the right to feel offended. But like, truth be told, posting your little screenshot to his podcast and doing that, Go on Joe Budden's podcast and talk to him. I'm like, you don't have to, but you should. Nicki Minaj did it. She had a long form conversation, a beautiful conversation. But the thing with Drake act like he probably acting like, oh, I don't listen to this. This is trash or this is this. Bro, stop trying to shortchange podcasts. Y'all need to cut that out too. Because it's funny and nobody talking about it. Joe Budden and $1 Million Worth of Game and all of them, they getting money that most rappers don't get, Drake, and you know that. They're getting money that most rappers don't get. Mm-hmm. And you know that's a fact.
Drake is not above doing podcasts. He's done podcasts before.
No, what I'm saying is the people that he has the most static with, he's never talked to them. Never talked to Charlamagne, never talked to Joe Budden once.
Yeah.
He usually goes on cookie cutter fucking podcasts where he could kind of curate or control the conversation a little bit. You went on Bobby Altoff's podcast and ended up taking that down. Mm-hmm. Just a waste of time. Like, I think ultimately because he's a big artist, he wants to move a certain way. But shit, even Jay-Z was on the fucking Breakfast Club back in the day. Mm-hmm. So it's like, bro, speak your piece. I say personally, I guess he has some issue. I don't know if he had smoke with Elliott Wilson, but he ended up. Didn't he talk to Elliott Wilson?
Yeah, he's been on Rap Radar a couple times.
Yeah, he talked to him. Mm-hmm. So he talked to them, and they had it was a long ass interview.
Yeah,
it was super long, like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I was like, bro, you got to start chopping it up with these people because posting the little screenshots ain't doing shit.
I think that I don't know if he needs to talk to Joe Budden. I think if he feels disrespected by Joe Budden, I don't think he needs to sit down with him. But I think that the thing that most Joe Budden podcast fans or listeners were saying, and you know what I kind of believe too, is that Joe Budden is a huge Drake fan. Yeah. He liked the last album, Sorry Never Mind. Mm-hmm. He actually said this album was good. He just said he wanted a little bit more. He wanted, him to take a little bit more time with this project, which he felt like he didn't. And he wishes that the material was a little bit more mature. And but he said overall he liked a lot of the songs. I think he liked the first half of the project. So my thing is like when you have these it's the same thing that the Cardi B type of thing is, Nicki Minaj does this a little bit too. These rappers, they're essentially they're not immune to like the negativity, right? So one thing that Joe Budden would always say is like, yo, if you don't want to post, you don't want to screenshot, record every time I'm bigging you up, every time I'm saying like, yo, you're an amazing rapper, every time, like even in that podcast, they're actually having debates about like his greatest songs and like, going back and forth with different things. And, all of a sudden, like, he says something that you don't necessarily care about,
right?
Then you go and you do this whole thing. So yeah, exactly. I just think that, in those situations, it's like the way I look at it, and I'm not in Drake's position, but, if I'm in that situation, I think that what I would try to do is revert that negativity to a positive place, right? So every time I see something negative and you want to like, do the Twitter fingers, as he famously created, right? I would take that and post like a positive review. Like, you got fans that love you dearly. That's like waiting in line outside of the Staples Center to get into your show and like buying multiple tickets to go to all your shows and at the Barclays or at Madison Square Garden. And, you're not showing any of them any attention, right? But anytime, somebody says something negative, y'all jumping down these people's throats. So I just think that, I think we need to spend a lot more time focusing on the people that actually care for our music and care about, or care about the content you're creating and not, putting so much energy into the negativity. But then like when Joe Budden says something positive, like, yo, say thank you or whatever. But, it doesn't have to be a thing where, anytime even a fan of yours says something that they don't necessarily agree with, And like you said, and no artist, no football player, no basketball player is above reproach.
No.
I think if anybody even had like something to say about our podcast where, you know, they'd be like, man, they kind of falling off a little bit or whatever the case may be. And I can hear like the fan in their voice. Like I can hear them saying like, I love them, but they not living up to my expectations, or I went to this live show and it wasn't as crazy as you know, whatever the case may be. That's something where you could look at it and be like, dang, like this person really rock with me.
Just give me an
but
opportunity.
like really listen to them and see what they saying. Cause you know, it ain't like, I don't think Joe Budden is a hater. I just think that he really says, you know, how he feels about these situations, and he knows he has reach. So I'm sure he knew that conversation would get to Drake, but he's still like, he still remains like, he's still able to like separate him as a human being versus him as a content creator.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I still think it was real short-sighted and ignorant to, you know, reduce or be reductive of someone's finances and try to play them like I own a jet and you ride first class occasionally. Like, you're making statements like you really know Joe Budden or you heard something about Joe Budden for you to say things like this.
Yeah.
Right. So you're paying more attention to, see, you're telling on yourself. This is what people don't realize. You're telling on yourself and you're telling on yourself because you have been following what he's been saying over X amount of years. The biggest lie a lot of athletes and musicians tell is, yeah, you know, I don't really follow the blogs. I don't listen to this news. I just make my music, or I just play football. I don't worry about what these people got to say. They hear everything. Media is everywhere. It is inescapable. If somebody said Eddie is a fucking moron, I would hear it. I guarantee you Keith would be like, you hear him calling you stupid? Like, it's going to be somewhere that shit's going to pop up.
Yeah, your friends will send it to you.
Yeah, they're going to send it to you.
Yeah.
You think LeBron James doesn't know about his fucking hairline? Mm-hmm. You think he doesn't know people are laughing at his hairline? One of the greatest basketball players of all time? One of the worst fucking hairlines ever in NBA history? Mm-hmm. You think he doesn't know that? But if you told it, here's the thing. You have never in the history of time heard an interviewer ask LeBron James about his hairline. Not one time.
It's not a basketball question.
No, it's not a basketball question, but over time, I'm sure somebody would have said something. I just think a lot of people choose their platforms very carefully because they understand that the power of editing and everything, as long as it's in their hands, they could do what they want to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I'm not into overly edited podcasts. Sometimes, you ever listen to a podcast that's so edited?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm not going to do no name drop, but they was talking like, yeah, so basically, what do you think? Whoa, that's wild. That's crazy. When you be like, dude, how did you jump to a joke that no one heard and you cut all that information off?
Yeah.
That's what happens when people, well, I got to talk about this. Recently, All the Smoke, they interviewed Will Smith. That was one of the worst fucking interviews I ever seen.
Yeah, it did jump. It jumped crazy.
But now they just did Jada. Did you see it?
No, I didn't. They interviewed Jada Pinkett?
They interviewed Jada. It's not up yet, but they did. I'm like, God, bro, y'all doing a lot, man. Yeah. But nah, I got nothing else to offer this, man.
Yeah.
It's starting to get a little late, man. Me and Keith recorded a little later tonight, but
yeah,
we still gonna drop this content for you guys to get your Monday started.
Most definitely.
Yeah, man. So we appreciate you, man. It's been a long run. And thank you for staying. Mm-hmm. You know, for all the newbies that's been popping up and running these numbers up, man. And tell a friend, man. Don't let it stop. Don't let this podcast be your own little secret. Okay, we need you to tell somebody else.
You're my little secret.
All right. Well, that's time for us to go.
That's how we should keep it.
You used to call me on my cheesecake.
Late night when I was hungry.
All right. Now the podcast is going down the drain. That's when you gotta turn these fucking mics off now. That's when it's time to go. If you've been listening to this episode, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K. Banks.
We're out of here.
Peace.